Let's do it. What's going on, guys? You know what? We are about to. This was a fantastic conference. We're going to talk about everything involved. Thank all of you for joining us live. And I'm back again to talk about the Xbox E3 show with, of course, some of the RDX panel and the Ash and Luca and Crap Gamer. Guys, we got to jump back into it. We got to get right into it. Initial thoughts on the conference, Luca.
They killed it.
Just turn
fucking
it up to
amazing.
11. Turn it up to 11.
It was fucking amazing. Team Xbox, bitch.
Now somebody out there is like, yeah. But seriously, just let it all go, guys. This conference to me was holy shit. Tons of transparency. Love it. Message for the future was there. Even going as far as talking about next hardware, right? And being very transparent about what they're trying to do, setting benchmarks, so forth, studio acquisitions, new games. You know what? If you weren't happy with this and you're talking about, well, there were no new games shown. Well, for one, there were. And secondly, don't be excited for anything else you're going to see at E3 because you've seen pretty much everything that everyone else is going to show already in some way or another. So really, guys, like I said, thanks for joining us live. I want to start with, the fact that they announced 50 titles. Yes, that's even more than last year. And you guys remember that last year they steamrolled everybody with that. They also started off with Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and we're going to get into Halo, Gears, Cyberpunk, all of the studio acquisitions, but I want to go down the list. It's going to be about an hour show. Crap. What do you think about this?
Okay, so they started off with Halo Infinite. Right away, you see that they have a brand new engine. That explains the delay. They went back to the old style art. Phenomenal. Master Chief, they mentioned it's his biggest fight yet to save humanity. Absolutely love that. Going to Ori 2. Ori 2 looked gorgeous. I don't know if you guys could see it on your screens, but I had the screen. Man, that game looked phenomenal. The graphical style. Do you want me to go down all this stuff or
no?
That
I forgot about Halo because I was late a little bit.
Yeah, so Halo kicked it off. And it looked.
Charlie Walker in the super chat says, "Do you have faith now?" I don't know if he's talking to the people watching or what, but we've always said, "Hey, we're looking forward to it. Can't wait to see what they're doing." And to my opinion, they delivered. So before we get into specifics, I'm just going to change it up again. I want to go to each of you and kind of get your grade, your impression, how well they did. And we can start with you, Crap, actually, since you're on the roll here.
You know what? If I were to me personally, I would give it an A, just because before I was always a little bit worried. What are they going to do? What's their commitment to Xbox? What's their commitment to first party creation? They answered that. We didn't get a direct answer to we're getting this, and this game. But if you saw at the end, a shadow over the Xbox One X. So that's telling you, and he says flat out, we're already making the next Xbox. Very plain as day. He said, and he also, from what I understand, they're going to always have the most powerful console. They have a commitment to power, but they also are going to offer different ways to play through streaming on phones or TVs or whatever. And the fact that he's like, we're going to do both is appealing to me. Because I don't want to be in a world where I can only stream stuff, right? Because
that would be a crazy world. I never thought that world would come, actually. I mean, we all kind of, if you remember, I did a video called we need to talk about the Xbox, right? And I talked about Game Pass and how eventually you'll just have the ability to stream everything to phones or mobile or even older generation Xboxes like the Xbox One S, right?
Yeah.
And they did go into that, and we're going to cover more of that later in the show. But this across the board, Phil being very transparent, saying we have hardware in the works that will once again, like the Xbox One X, set the benchmark in the console industry, basically, right? He used those specific words, benchmark, and that means it's going to be the best of the best. So that's very important. Luca, what were your overall thoughts about this, real quick? What would you give it? Okay.
Luca.
On to Colt Eastwood, the new Luca. Colt Eastwood, what would you give this?
Oh shit, my bad. I was muted. No, I'm sorry. I thought, okay, listen, 9.5 out of 10. I'm sorry. I didn't notice.
Out of 10.
Dude, it was amazing. Like, honestly, I was hanging out with my friends in a party. We were watching the show. I was like, I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. They showed Gears 5. I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, at the Gears pop, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, at first,
they trolled us.
I was like, what is this? I was like hitting up Crappy and Foxy. I was like, this is some bullshit right here. But then they showed Gears 5. It looks fucking phenomenal. By JD. And, dude, at the end with Cyberpunk, and dude, Okay,
I can tell you're about to spontaneously.
I started screaming. I threw my headset off my head onto the ground. I was screaming, jumping on my bed, screaming yes, hitting the top of my bed, like fuck yes, this is fucking amazing. Dude, I'm a gamer. I love gaming. This shit is awesome for me because I play more than just fucking exclusives. And they showed me the exclusives I want to see. I don't have an issue. I play on PlayStation. I play on Xbox. So this is perfect for me because you know what my most anticipated game was?
You just want great games, right?
I just want great games. And when they played that song from the 2013 little trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, I'm so happy, dealer. I'm so fucking happy.
I can tell. So you give it a Witcher out of 10.
Yes.
9.5.
Yes.
Okay. So, Colt, brother, let me know what you have to say about this. We didn't watch this one together, so I haven't gotten any of your thoughts here.
I thought you died today. I messaged you and everything and never heard from. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, just hectic morning. Go ahead.
Sure. I was really, really excited. I was doing this I was doing this yelling and stuff like kind of stuff when I was watching, and I don't remember doing
that. Just grabbing glass mugs and slamming them on the ground. Yeah.
I had like 20 ounces of Mountain Dew. I'm like, slammed them on the table, and they're like shooting up like geysers. No, I was really excited, and one thing, the biggest takeaway from this conference, because I don't want to go forward in what we're going to talk about, the biggest takeaway is, holy crap, starting this fall, I cannot afford to buy all these games. There are so many freaking games coming. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I can't wait to get it going to detail.
The ones that I want, it's crazy. That's what I mean. It's like, I don't even know how I'm going to do it.
Yep. And we got to give a shout out to over 900 people watching this live already, guys. Hit that like button. It really helps if you're excited for what you saw. If you're just a gamer that looks forward to all these games, support the show, do what you do, guys, because really that's why we're here. We asked the question at the beginning of all these E3 shows, did EA just win? That was a resounding no, by the way. Did Xbox just win? I think it's a very high possibility that in this case, yes, I think Xbox has a very strong shot at winning the entire conference this year. They just blew it out of the park. So we've got who else? Do we got any Fonz? What do you think about this, man? Give us
all right, thoughts. Okay, so overall, here's what I thought. And this goes out to people also who are sitting there naysaying. I'm reading the chat, and they're talking about how it's a 3 out of 10 show and stuff, and they were all disappointed. What were you expecting? We all told you on RDX here that they weren't going to show brand new AAA title games because they can't just come up with these games out of thin air, okay? Even if they invested 2 years ago into something, you're not really going to see those games for quite some time if they're big AAA games. Now, that said, I think they blew it out of the park with what they had to offer, and there was a lot of surprises there. I mean, the fact that they showed games to appeal to a wider audience, like these JRPGs, Tales of Vesperia is huge, people. May not be to you, but it's a huge game. Being first to show Kingdom Hearts and that new Frozen Land and stuff, that is huge for a lot of people out there. It's not for me, but it's huge to a lot of others. This is about games, people. This is about being gamers, and they've created this new studio they talked about in Santa Monica. The acquisition of 5 current studios that they announced, huge. Ninja Theory, amazing. They showed the new From Software game, Sariko or whatever it's called, looked amazing. Cyberpunk, amazing. Gears 5 looked fantastic. What was there that they didn't show that they could have? Nothing. I thought they knocked it out of the park. I thought it was great.
Question, bud.
I thought it was great.
But let me ask you another question here. Do you think that if Cyberpunk, the new From Software game, Kingdom Hearts, the Vesperia stuff, like all of those types of games, plus all of the AAAs they showed that were if they were at the Sony conference, do you think that people's minds would have been blown, or do you think that maybe like Silverback, this crackhead in the chat?
Remember,
crazy.
Remember, the Devil May Cry 5 game was rumored to be a PlayStation exclusive. Guess what, fellas? It's not. So they showed that, and that looked fantastic. These games, if they were showed over there only on Sony stage, they'd be losing their minds over it too. I'm sorry. The fact that they showed these games first is amazing. And you know what? They did what they could. And I thought, seriously, this show is an easy 9 out of 10 for me. Easy.
Now, of course, if you're a radical, like some of the dudes in the chat and stuff, 4 out of 10 facts, stuff like that, you go back and huff some Pine Sol because you're wrong.
You got to look at this as from a gamer's perspective. Get this console bullshit out of your mind. PlayStation versus Xbox. As for a gamer, this was fantastic.
Well said. Well, Crap, I want you to pick up where you left off, brother. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, man.
Yeah, Ori 2 looked really good. I thought that that just the art style and the graphics and everything, and the way they evolved it. So it doesn't just look like Ori 1. You know what I mean? It's like they've added a ton to it. Just wow, I was blown away by it. I think that obviously the better hardware and stuff, just the 4K is going to look amazing. The Fallout 76 stuff, Shadows Die Twice. I'm not this is a total departure from the Soul series, and I say for the better. From Software on Microsoft stage showing off this new IP that looks completely
different. Samurai Service or something like that, Luca.
It's something Shadows Die Twice.
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and I just want to say that I told people that it wasn't going to be Bloodborne 2 because the director of Bloodborne and Dark Souls says we're not working on Dark Souls or Bloodborne. I freaking hate when people run with rumors like that.
You're right, Luca, and also it looked amazing. It looked more like a Tenchu game.
Yes, Bonds. Yes, I thought the same thing.
Action, right? Grapple up to some roofs, and it looked like they're bringing that kind of formula forward, right?
Yep.
So that looked really interesting as well. The Fallout 4 going to Game Pass day one, by the way. I just had that down real quick. That's the big news for anybody that's been looking to play Fallout 4. They're getting some better titles in there. Fallout 76 is an actual game. Like it's a Fallout game. It's not like game.
Hey, just real quick.
Coming out.
I don't know. We'll probably hear about that tonight. But I just wanted to point out about Game Pass. Elder Scrolls Oblivion is in there, I think, right? And Fallout 4 and The Division.
The Division 2.
Yeah, and also Ashen and some of the other games are going to go right in there.
Warhammer Vermintide 2.
Yes, and that's a 4K game, enhanced with 4K textures and all that kind of stuff. So,
and to touch on that too, the fact that Game Pass is getting beefed up with what people were asking for with these multiplats. People, this should make you feel comfortable going forward, seeing what Xbox is trying to do here with Game Pass and what they're trying to do. Because, I mean, the partnerships there with Bethesda and Ubisoft, they're just being strengthened there. And the fact that these games are like, what is it? Not Splinter Cell. The Division is in Game Pass. That's huge. That's huge.
No, it can be for certain people for sure. It's a couple years old, but it was one of the biggest games of the last several years. It's Ubisoft's biggest launch ever, still to this day. Is the Division. So
ESO, and that ESO is that's the big edition version, the full all bells and whistles edition. That's not just like the bare bones edition.
It's got all the DLC with it.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, well, that'll be interesting to see. And like Fallout 4 is huge too. That released the same year as the Division, I do believe. So, if you're, like I said, if you're into any of that stuff, but Fallout 76, they say, is going to be its biggest map ever, easily
4 times bigger than Fallout 4.
Yeah, and it's a prequel, and it's an actual Fallout. Think of New Vegas, but it's like another spinoff, I guess, right? Any more information on that? Like anybody else really know much more?
I don't know any. Hold on, let me see if I can find. I
expected Luca to be on this one.
What they showed, like you were outside, you were in the vault. So I mean, I'm thinking it's third or first person. Just
I don't know too much about it, to be honest. And honestly, it's pretty vague.
So, you know why it's vague? It's because they have their own show.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's
here's the little blurb: a stunning prequel to the largest world ever created in the legendary Fallout universe. Set in the hills of West Virginia, you are one of the first to emerge into a new and untamed wasteland. That's
okay. Jeez, that's it. That's full.
I mean, literally.
You know what? That's enough, and I'll take another Fallout adventure before I go to Elder Scrolls or whatever. So, hey, we got to give a shout out to over 1,200 people watching live, guys. Hit that like button if you can; it really helps. You've also got Captain Spirit, Luca. I'm guessing this is from the people that did what is it?
Life is Strange.
Yeah, don't know. Life is Strange. So, it looks really cute. I like it. I'm gonna pick it up.
It has its appeals. Crackdown, they did show the single player stuff again. What did you mention about this, Colt? They added a few things.
Yeah, I did an extensive study of the game that they don't like to talk about early last year. Yeah, or late last year, I guess it was. They didn't talk about transforming vehicles. They showed them, like Crap said earlier, they showed these ramps you can drive up in the city. They have transforming
You can
weapons.
drive up walls now with your.
Hey, can I
they
mention
showed-
something? I'm looking
Yeah.
at the official Xbox Wire thing, and everything else says Xbox One, Windows 10 exclusive. For some reason, Crackdown 3 just says Xbox One exclusive.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be on Windows 10.
I mean,
Yeah.
it says, oh, okay, here we go. Explosive gameplay in an all-new multiplayer mode, Wrecking Zone, where destruction is your
Nice.
ultimate weapon powered by Microsoft Cloud.
You
So
know, some of these naysayers in the chat, I see them in every podcast. Do they even game?
I don't think so.
No, they're just unhappy. Just leave them. Just ignore them. They'll be fine.
No, seriously, do they even game? Because I say, look, like I said before the show, I play games on a daily basis and still hold down a full-time job. I do a podcast once a week, sometimes twice, but I game. And I see all these same frauds all the time. Oh, Xbox sucks. Xbox sucks. Well, you don't even play your PlayStation. So what are you playing?
Yeah, they do. They play 2K. So, leave them alone, Fonz. Leave them alone. They're mad. I don't understand it too. I'm gonna watch Sony's conference and I'll be like,
me too.
that game looks cool. I'm getting
Yeah.
Spider-Man day one. But these guys, I just don't get it. And you really got to just think about that for a second. So Crackdown 3, like you said, Colt, add some new stuff. You can drive.
you can drive on walls. Your car turns into a tank.
They
Yeah, I
doubled- they
saw
showed
a good 25.
right?
Oops, sorry, dealer.
Go ahead. They showed a little bit of kind of explosions and stuff in the single player.
Yeah, I saw what I thought it was around 25% more that they've added to the game than they showed last year, and I was already really excited about what they had last year. So whatever they're doing for the next year of this whole year-long delay should be pretty substantial. What Crap was reading, he said, stay tuned for more information on Crackdown 3's story campaign and cloud-powered multiplayer Wrecking Zone as we get closer to launch.
Yeah.
So, maybe at Gamescom, they're going to actually just show that. But that's one of those things like, nope, they're not doing it. This game's canceled. And now we know
everyone said it looked so bad last year. I thought it really showed better this year. It looks fun. He threw a tank at a helicopter. I mean,
yeah, there was more actual gameplay, just not in the fixed camera, right? Crap. Did you?
Yeah.
Were you noticing that?
Yeah,
So-
I noticed it. Because I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, this actually looks much, much better. So anything's going to be an improvement over like what they were going to show last year. So I'm all for it.
Particles and explosions. And real quick, I'd give a shout out to Cyrus Burke in the super chat. Thanks for the $2. He says, Gears of War looked godly. Conference was fire, man. We agree.
That Gears of War 5, that might be the best graphics I've seen. And I was just like blown away by that. And that was after I had settled down from seeing the Funko Pop thing.
Guys got to remember that Gears of War 4 was developed in 2.5 years with a brand new team, guys. So, of course, the masters over at Coalition, who have one of the most technically advanced games on any console, Gears 4, are going to blow it out of the park with this one. So it looked like they're really pushing the narrative, the things you can do in the game. I mean, we're going to come to that, but Jesus, it looked great. Crackdown 3 multiplayer was not shown there, though. You think they're saving that for Gamescom, Colt?
Yes, I think so. I mean, they need to. I mean, when else are they going to show it? They need to show it off properly before February. And I mean, unless they have their own conference, I mean, let's be real. They got to show it at Gamescom.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And from what I hear, that was not the reason it was delayed. That was working perfectly fine. Interestingly enough, they didn't open or close with a massive destructive demo, which I think could really grab eyes. But Crackdown looking good, looking better all the time. You've also got the announcement of Nier Automata officially coming to Xbox One, correct, Crap?
Yep.
I did not catch the text on the screen.
It's actually it's going to be available this month in a couple weeks. So
interesting. So a lot of Sony guys out there, we told you this would happen. These were third parties that were not deals. They just came to the bigger platform first, and don't harp on them too much because they're not going to be there for long. This is Fonz's favorite game.
Yeah.
Nier Automata. Look, it's not a game for me, but it's one less for those stupid list wars or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like
our last video.
Well, I heard somebody said, "Oh, I bought it on my Pro," and I said, "Well, you messed up because you could have bought a better version."
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Like this is big, and you know what the funny part is? This game, much like Crash Bandicoot, everybody's like, we knew that wasn't going to be exclusive, but then why is it in the list? Why is it in everybody's list about how it's exclusive and all this kind of stuff?
Is it Nier Automata on PC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been on the list in the first place because
Well, a lot of people don't really count the PC
no,
stuff.
yes, they do, crap, because I hear that all the time with people saying that Xbox doesn't have any real exclusives because they all have PC.
Wait, hold on. That's what I noticed in this one. Did you notice that they didn't say, they may have showed the word console exclusive, but they just said exclusive. And I think it's because at this point, Microsoft has almost completely successfully married the platform PC and Xbox up to the point where they can just say exclusive and don't at me for it.
Well,
because this is what they're doing. I mean, I don't want them to go up there and go, not on PS4, and then bust the game out.
Yeah,
So,
but to Luca's point, yeah, it only works one way. You can't say that a game is exclusive to Xbox if it's on PC, but it only works that way.
Well, we just had a top fraud in the chat, one of the biggest corporate slaves in the universe, saying corporate slavery must pay well. Well, you let us know, Top Dog. You're here every week.
Hey, let me book in what Fonz just said, because as gamers, we make up our own definition of what exclusive means. But actually, exclusive means not including, which means if it's not on the Nintendo Switch and it's not on PS4, it is an exclusive because it's excluding itself from another console or another platform.
And you're just going by the technical definition.
I'm going by the technical definition. I think as gamers, we go by what we think exclusive means. And there's a reason why it's exclusive to Windows 10 on Microsoft's platform and the Xbox, because it's their game. And it's not going to be on PS4.
Well, let me ask you guys this real quick, because this was a little bit surprising to me. What did you guys think about the Gears Tactics game being just Windows exclusive, not on Xbox?
I thought that's weird. That's stuff.
I always encourage them to, if you got a console, put everything you make on it somehow. Don't tell me it doesn't work on a controller.
Yes.
Anybody who's played Supreme Commander 2 on the 360 knows that any RTS, because that's a pretty complex one, can work on a controller.
Halo Wars 2.
Halo Wars,
you
even
could speak on that.
So I do want to move it forward here. So Nier Automata coming to Xbox, as we told you guys it would. Luca, Metro Exodus, thoughts?
It looks really good, bro. Like, really good. I couldn't get into the other Metros, and I was just like, oh, man. But everything that I'm seeing from Metro Exodus is making me say, maybe I'll give it another shot, because it looks shot-worthy.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes out in February, they said, right? So looks like Days Gone, Anthem, Metro, and Crackdown February. I do not believe this. One of these guys
4 games
skip and have to come back later somewhere,
Yeah, they need to.
I don't know if I can handle fighting those evil capybaras. No thanks.
Hey, did you also, maybe you guys didn't notice this was kind of slick on their part, but the new main protagonist in Gears is now Kate Diaz.
No, I noticed.
Yeah,
maybe they'll switch. Maybe they started out with JD, and Kate, and the next one will be Dell.
It could be. I mean, that'd
be cool.
Yeah. I mean, if you think, because I'm reading the Windows Central article, it says that it focuses on her into the background. It picks up right from the last game, which I thought was really good, and I didn't see a DB bot anywhere, dealer. So
I think that would be really cool.
Well, they did. They had it mixed with the Locust.
That's
great. Yeah, the Locust infested them Star Wars style, right?
New enemy bosses and stuff. I was like, holy crap!
That's
JD
what
looked like he's eating good, man. He looked like he packed on that freshman 40.
That's what intrigued.
He looks so much like Marcus, man.
They did that on purpose.
Hey, it's Buddha time in the it's Buddha time in the super chat. So let's go, Xbox fam. Yeah, appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Raven Door.
So yeah, I got to give credit to Dealer. Him and I talked about Gears 4 a lot, and he kind of pushed me toward my prediction in one of my E3 videos about how Kate would be the main focus for Gears 5. And gosh dang, if Dealer wasn't right on that one.
If you look at the ending of that, it was surprise ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, it was definitely interesting.
I know we're going to talk about Gears 5 later, but the big thing I took from that was it just seemed like such a heartfelt, big, gigantic version of a Gears game that will compete with some of these other big games that Microsoft hasn't had on the Xbox. Like, it just looks massive.
That's what I liked about Gears 4. That's what I liked about Gears 4 is that acting.
So I don't have to keep my eye on this. Raven Gordon in the super chat says, between Halo, Gears, Forza, and Shadows Die Twice, his wallet is going to be dying. You know what? Who was it? Colt was saying the same thing, man. There's so many games to play this year and beyond. Go ahead, Fonz.
Yeah, I was going to say Gears 4. The acting in that game was really good. That's one of the bright spots in that game. Aside from the graphics were amazing, and this just looks to continue that tradition on both accounts. So I'm excited for Gears 5.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about more of the details there. But Metro, February. So one of those games so just so you keep track, Days Gone, Anthem, Metro, and Crackdown are supposed to release in February. A few of these games are moving somewhere. So
I think Metro's moving. And something tells me that they're going to move Days Gone at least a few weeks and for more polish. When reality is that's more space between them and Anthem.
I like the fact that publishers are figuring out that gaming is a year-round hobby. You don't got to release everything in the fall. Compare a few years ago, first half of the year, to even this year or especially next year. Holy crap, night and day.
Yep. 100%, man. Like, and I wouldn't be surprised if Crackdown releases early in February, like maybe a couple weeks before the 22nd, like February 1st or 3rd or something. Like give yourself a few weeks. It's also going to be in Game Pass, so hopefully it'll do something. But overall, yeah, man, like fantastic. That was really really cool stuff to see. Man, it was like. There wasn't really a lot of slow time. There was no Minecraft.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Hey, we're going to talk about that here in a second. No Minecraft, but we do have to mention Kingdom Hearts 3 first, just so I can stay on topic here. Kingdom Hearts 3 showed up, maybe to many a surprise. I expected that to be on the Sony stage.
Yes.
Luca, where did you expect to see that?
Yes.
You did expect to see it there.
Mm-hmm. Because they were already talking about Kingdom Hearts 3 coming to Xbox, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool if they showed it on Xbox's stage to just kind of reinforce that. You know what I mean? To show that their commitment. And also, it looks amazing. I love Kingdom Hearts. I grew up with it, so I'm very excited for this, and I will be getting it on Xbox.
Did they show that at Sony stage last year?
They've debuted that on Sony stage in 2013, I think.
Oh,
and people thought it was a PlayStation exclusive. They thought it was a PlayStation exclusive because Sony didn't say anything, and they were all exclusive prior to that. So just the fact that this is on Xbox, is really good. I think that's really really something that I think I've never played one. I hope they bring the remasters to Xbox because I think a lot of fans would be into it more that way.
I want to give some of these guys a history lesson real quick to the normal RDX listeners and stuff like that. You guys know. But this whole conference just screamed of money, right? It screamed of money is what it did. Spending a lot of money. And for those that are curious as to why they waited till now to do all of this, why all of these big studio acquisitions, dropping money on all the big marketing here and stuff at E3, well, a lot of that had to do with former executives leaving, not giving full access to much funds to Phil Spencer and his team to do what they wanted to do. That guy's gone. Phil is now head of all gaming at Xbox and Microsoft. And he's like, you know what? The money is coming in now. We've got the budget to do what we need to do. And he really reinforced that at the end of the conference. Mm-hmm. So really, guys, you're looking at what he said would be the best place to play for now on. And not today, not just tomorrow.
Years and years.
Years and years and years. Yeah, the best hardware and what he believes will be the best software as well. So
anybody thinking they were looking to get out of gaming... you guys are
Xbox is dead.
Perpetuated by bullshit that was just someone on Twitter said, "Hey, I hear Microsoft's trying to sell to Amazon." And everyone's like, "Hey, I want to believe that. I'm an idiot." And
the only thing that's dying at Xbox, the only thing that's dying there is Phil Spencer's shirts. Can you get a bigger shirt? The man's got.
He was taking a page out of Sean Layden. Out of Sean Layden's book right there, man. Just
that soft denim shirt was something that
in the super chat there, but I'm not going to read that first part. But he's saying you owe me.
A few things got put to rest on that conference. Anyone thinking
what did you get here? What the fuck?
Hold on, pause. Dealer, I want you to read this thing in its entirety.
I'm not reading it in its entirety. Okay? YouTube doesn't like this kind of stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, me, Forza Horizon 4 is 4K. Well, we don't know if it's 4K and 60. It has the 60 frames mode. So that's another big thing we're talking about. You're right, Julian. They didn't do 60 on Horizon 3. He said they could have. They just chose not to. I don't buy it. I think they've just done further optimization and gotten that CPU up there to where they need it to be. So we'll talk about that, though. I'm going to go all in on that. So, D, what were you talking about, man?
Yeah, a few things got put to rest. All those people thinking that Xbox Game Pass or Xbox games were going to show up on the PlayStation. They put that to rest today, saying that their streaming service is going to be the PC, mobile, and no PlayStation mentions.
I don't know why anyone ever thought that anyway.
I honestly thought Switch.
And Switch might be a thing, but Switch is its own mobile platform where they're thinking Sony's even going to let it on there. Sony won't even let Mixer.
No, that's why. No, dude, they blurred out Xbox controllers in an ad.
Okay, I got to kill a fraud right now in the chat. Soul Cube, Gears 5 looked boring.
I know.
Are you serious?
No.
You know what? I was watching another reaction show, and the doom and gloom that they had over there is like, what fucking show did you watch? It was an awesome show. Now, I'll be honest and admit,
they left their TVs off, D.
It was a little bit disappointing that we did still see just Forza, Gears, and Halo, but we still got some cool new games, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
not only that,
the Dirge Knight in the super chat says Xbox killed it. I'm off to bed later. We appreciate it, man. Thanks.
The new studio acquisition was incredible.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, guys, this real quick. I don't know like how you're gonna do this, dealer, but wouldn't you think that Ninja Theory would be good to maybe resurrect Scalebound? Or I'm just saying, like that seems like it'd be a good fit. Or maybe I mean that's an Xbox studio or a game.
Didn't you think that Dante looked just like the Scalebound dude?
He does look like the Scalebound.
I mean, he always kind of has, but it's kind of like one of those knocks. Like, there's no Scalebound, but freaking Devil May Cry looks really cool.
I wish they made the Scalebound guy look like Dante.
I haven't been into a DMC game in a while, but that one I might pick up. Look great.
Well, we got to keep it moving, guys. So Kingdom Hearts 3 definitely coming out on Xbox very soon. Sea of Thieves, they always take one little L at least on even their best conferences. They did show Sea of Thieves a little bit, talked about the update and stuff like that. Skeleton crews, AI crews on boats going to be out in the water hunting and stuff. Yeah,
kept it brief.
It's interesting for sure, but it's instead of focusing on Minecraft, they did Sea of Thieves, and it didn't last very long, so that's good. Battlefield 5, they kind of skimped through. I'm kind of surprised. I'm guessing they're highlighting some story stuff, but they didn't spend very much time on that. Now, Forza Horizon 4. All right, now, yes or no? Yes or no? And of course, this was only natural for them to go this route. The shared world that I have been talking about for fucking years, is this not it?
Yes.
Holy
crap.
It's about time, dude. This is what everybody's wanting.
Next step for Horizon, in my opinion.
Oh, God, top dog. Get out of here.
The destructible barriers and the wildlife in there and the changing I'm helping you destroy Top Fraud. The destructible environment on the road barriers. You had the wildlife, the changing seasons. You have like a real, true, like not like press a button to join your friends, like a real, true, open, living, breathing world. It freaking looks amazing. And
it looked like you could be headed to your event. You got 6 buddies over there ramping off some stuff in the background, and you just like I talked about 1,000 times. Like
it's going to be native 4K 30, and it's probably going to have around 1080p plus at 60 frames, right, dealer? You'd say
as long as it's 1080, I'm fine at 60. I want that 60.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So no drive cars. That's the biggest thing, right?
No drive cars. Everyone you see, like in the game today, if you go up next to a car in Horizon 3, it's a drive-a-tar, right? Unless you're in a co-op match with 4 people. Now all those cars are real people.
Wow. They're still going to have drive-a-tars, though.
Look, hey, guys, October 2nd, when that drops, I'm going to be griefing people. I'm going to be parked sideways on the road. Turn it into me.
Hey, guys, so you guys remember the at the beginning of the Cyberpunk trailer, they had these numbers. Apparently, those were codes for Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition.
That's awesome, dude. I love CD Projekt Red, dude. That is amazing.
Yes, they are codes for Witcher 3 Game of the Year. Holy crap.
You know what? Irrelevant Native was watching it live with me, and he said the same thing. He goes, dude, those are codes. I'm putting them in.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Shinsai in the super chat said, this is not a roadmap. This is a highway. I think it's very well said, man. They give
to the danger zone.
Phil did what I know it sounds lame or like people say you're damage control. Did what I personally wanted because you always worry what's in that. Is Xbox really committed to Microsoft really committed to Xbox? Nobody can watch that as that man sat up there and said 5 new studios, right? And not only that, but people were worried about single player stuff. If you listen carefully, you got to pick up what Phil does. And he mentions Gallagher, who writes great narrative stories for games. They're probably working on a single player game. Not only that, but if you look at Ninja Theory, they're a single player studio, you know?
Gears 5, that's a single player game with a badass multiplayer attached.
Yes, exactly. So
also what about that We Happy Few studio they picked up?
Yeah, like the confusing thing about that is because that game is still going to come to PS4 because it was announced and I guess the deals were signed.
Yeah. I want to come back. I want to come back to the studios, and we're not far off, I promise, because that's the big news there, and it's awesome. So really, to run through the Horizon 4 stuff, because we can't discount Horizon 4.
That game, whew,
it's going to have seasons, so you're going to each season of the year, snow, mud. It's set in Britain, and it's going to have a shared open world. You're going to have a 60 frames per second option on the X, and it comes on October 2nd. It's also a day one Game Pass. We got to talk about just how good this game looked. The connected shared world that we've been talking about forever now, since before Horizon 3, is finally coming to fruition. Looks like there's no comps, unfortunately. Some people might prefer that. I do not. And I can't wait to play this. This isn't 4-player co-op.
But here's the thing,
co-op.
Dealer, I'll pretend to be a cop and I'll chase you.
No, because you'll open up your window and go, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah. But
let me say, you don't have to buy the $20 Blizzard Mountain expansion on Horizon 4 because you can you can have it changed to winter. Like the whole thing changed when they changed it into winter. The whole lake froze over. Oh my gosh!
Now I want to know if the seasons actually change when the seasons change.
No.
We can go back to Forza, but I saw this tweet by Aaron Greenberg, and somebody I know is not going to be happy because this is what he said. Excited to announce Halo Infinite, the next chapter in the epic Halo saga, powered by Slipspace Engine with a story centered on Master Chief.
Yes.
And I didn't notice any Locke. Just so you guys know, Locke died on his way back to his home planet.
Save Locke.
You gotta save Locke. Hey,
shout out to Kim Mega. Hey, looks like it's interesting because it's calling it Halo Infinite. I'm not sure why. I'm assuming it's got something to do with the multiplayer. It's not Halo 6. So I mean, really, just to double back on that, because there's a lot more hypothesis here. There's a lot of fans of Halo in the chat. Really, what could this be? That you mentioned they're going back to the old style armor. They're really going back to the roots here. The Slipspace Engine, know nothing about it. Badass name. I'm guessing it's capable of doing so much more than the 343 proprietary engine beforehand could do. Honestly, I think that this engine was retooled and repurposed because it is a next generation, meaning next Xbox game. So, because they announced Gears 5 in 2019, they're not going to release Halo in 2019 too.
No.
That means 2020.
If you listen to the little blurb that they wrote, the Master Chief returns in the next chapter of the legendary franchise in Halo Infinite, developed by 343s and created with the new studio's Slipspace Engine. Halo Infinite debuted at the E3 briefing with a thrilling engine demo that provides a glimpse into the future of Halo, leading the franchise into new and unexpected directions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their blurb for that.
It looked interesting. I want to see, honestly, some more of that, but it looked good.
It did. It looked really good. And that might be why we got 50 salty dudes with the dislike button there, guys. We're sorry you didn't. You just really like Sony stuff. Why are you here? That's my question.
I don't understand why they can't just be like, hey, that was a good show.
You know what? They have nothing to do until tomorrow at 6 Pacific Standard Time.
It was a great show. Anyone saying otherwise, like, man, take your tinfoil hat off, man, because that was
there
fantastic.
Was there any boring spots or lulls in the conference? I mean, especially compared to EA's.
The only boring spot for me was that game with the kid, make believing and shit.
Yep. Yeah. That was the only slow part.
That was some boring shit for me. But
that was Don't Nod's game. How was the name of that damn game?
And also too, when that lady was talking about the Xbox Game Pass, she kind of lacked the enthusiasm that was needed.
She was up there for like 3 minutes though.
But those were the only real down spots to the whole conference, and this glossed over a lot of people. The fact that they're talking about the next generation of Xbox already, they kind of had it like under a veil. You could see it in the background under a veil. They said, we're hard at work at the next generation of Xbox, and we promise to deliver the best console gaming ever. And based on the Xbox One X, I'm going to take them at face value on this. And also, too, them coming out and saying this tells me that next year we're going to get the announcement for the next Xbox.
Could be, yeah. We got to give a shout out to over 1,500 people watching. Most of you guys are having a great time. Some of you guys are really salty, not really sure why. You should just be really happy that great games are being announced, and a lot of these are coming to PlayStation too. So I'm guessing you didn't like those either. So for those that are having a great time, hit that like button, guys. It really helps. And we're going to talk about the acquisition news. Phil really hammers home investment, right?
Yes.
He says they're investing in exciting franchises, giving their teams times to make amazing worlds, things like that. New franchises, like I said, you're getting tons of new game studios here. So they did acquire Undead Labs. And this is why this is important, right? Some people are like, well, those games are already exclusive anyway. State of Decay 1 and 2, Horizon 3, 4, all that, right? They were already exclusive. How does this even matter? What you got to understand is that these were outside teams that did not receive full funding, manpower, the budget of an internal Microsoft team, nor the support. So you are now getting Undead Labs, a team that really did release a great game with a State of Decay 1. State of Decay 2, people hammered it, but it is better than the first one in every way, believe it or not.
Would you assume that 3
double or triple the size of that team?
3 would be a AAA, right?
Yeah,
you assume.
And from what I hear, it's already greenlit for the next Xbox. You're now going to get an Undead Lab that is several times larger, way more manpower and time and money to really pour into the next game.
Good.
This is smart. So they did buy Undead Labs. They did buy Playground Games. They bought Ninja Theory. Real quick, Luca, your thoughts on them buying Ninja Theory? She's muted. Okay, crap. Real quick, your thoughts on them buying Ninja Theory?
Well, okay, I thought that this was a brilliant move because Ninja Theory doesn't, for a couple reasons. The first thing I thought of was they do hack and slash games, and Scalebound was going to be hack and slash. Also, Rise is hack and slash, maybe a sort of game like that. But I also thought that this was a team that could really do single player well, right, in that genre, and they need that genre. So everybody that was jumping the gun and saying no more single player games, this is a team that is really, really focused on single player narrative. They're like, look at Hellblade, right? So many people love that game. I get it, right? I totally get that. For me, the looking puzzles, like I like the story, but the looking puzzles were a little bit much for me. But other than that, man,
small team and a small budget too.
Yeah, I like their Devil May Cry game where I didn't like the other ones. You know what I mean? Like I actually like what they do, and so I'm excited to see what they do in the future. Like awesome.
Yeah,
Very
you know what?
excited.
I think it's a great acquisition. You know what's funny though? I saw some people I actually just saw this tweet where this guy was like, "You betrayed us. How could you go to Xbox like that? How could you?" I was like, no.
I didn't realize Devil May Cry DMC, it sold way more on the 360, right? Like they like the Xbox, and it's not a big deal.
It's really not a big
Top
deal.
Fraud in the super chat, Fonz. He says, yeah, you see the tweet there. He says you're basically a fraud. So good job, Top Fraud. You
Yeah,
learned.
I mean, I think it's great, and that was the announcement of the studios they were acquiring. That was the announcement that I got most excited for. I was like, "Oh, this is great! Like, Hellblade does mature games. This is what we need." Very exciting.
I'm a fraud because I like video games and he doesn't.
Top Dog's just a troll.
So who's crouching down right now? PlayStation or Xbox?
Well, they're
Hang on. We got that's another discussion.
but they're crouching down to leap higher later.
Yeah.
Okay, so Microsoft, after they announced the acquisition of Undead, Playground, great. Those teams can now have way more manpower and resources, right? Feels like, hey, the gloves are off. They also announced the acquisition of Compulsion Games, the guys behind We Happy Few. And most importantly, they talked about Daryl Gallagher's new studio in Santa Monica that we all talked about. The Quadruple A studio. They announced it on stage. It's called The Initiative. And that is going to be massive. That's going to be the next big new IP for Microsoft. I think you're going to come out of there. And
I was hoping they would call it Team Watermelon.
Team Watermelon, really?
Here's their little blurb for The Initiative. Based in Santa Monica, California, The Initiative is a brand new Microsoft game development studio headed by industry veteran Daryl Gallagher. Is working to create groundbreaking new worlds, characters, and game experiences. Nice.
Thank you, Crap.
Thank
And
you.
now back to you, dealer, for the
I
weather.
know, right? I mean,
Give some of these guys the history of Daryl Gallagher and why it's just kind of a big deal.
okay, so Daryl Gallagher was the guy behind the reboot of Tomb Raider. That's kind of his expertise, like the single player,
Awesome.
narrative driven, story based games. So again, another
Yeah, in 2013, right?
yeah. So, and he also was the guy that handled the single player aspects of some games at Activision.
Mhm.
So he's well versed in the single player side of things. Again, bringing in a single player person with expertise there kind of staves off that narrative that Microsoft will not be doing single player games. Like anybody that thought that, that's just crazy talk.
They
Like
have
people
they have no reason to think that just
Yeah.
because their single player games have multiplayer. Like The Last of Us, by the way, doesn't mean that they're not doing single player. Hey, whatever in the super chat asked about a new and improved Elite controller. That's something we did not see.
we didn't. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Which is kind of welcome, because really and truly we don't
Give it,
need them to waste the time on Elite controller. They can do that under after shows after E3.
Well, that was actually a pretty big leap for the Elite controller. I mean, it's going to have internal charging for the first time ever, and
guys, but they could save that for like inside Xbox.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
they did here at E3 is they showed games to people, and they showed games you asked for. You wanted mature games, they showed you mature games. Yet you're still bitching. It's funny.
It's unfucking believable. Someone said to me, "Oh, they showed a bunch of multiplats." What do you think fucking Sony's going to show on Monday? They're gonna show a bunch of fucking multiplats. We're getting nothing new from Sony. They fucking already confirmed this. Like, you fuck nuts.
Hang on, too, D. Though last year Sony showed, like when Monster Hunter World and all that, the new Monster Hunter was shown at their E3. Were you only excited for that until you learned it was a multiplat, like we all told you it would be? Like, I'm really confused. Do you only get excited when games are excluded from others, or do you just get excited for great games? I understand that everyone needs first and third party. Of course, everyone does. But when something's a multiplat, you shouldn't instantly be like, eh.
We saw Cyberpunk 2077 on the stage at Microsoft's to close the show, and the way they did it was so dramatic. Like, come on.
I got up to go grab my mic to start the podcast. I'm like, hold on a second. Very cool. Yeah.
So they announced in total 5 new studios, and those studios, they also announced Playground working on something that's an open world type game as well.
He almost said Fable. He almost was saying Fable.
Yeah, so very likely a new Fable game, and Playground, we have no reason to distrust. Much like Anthem, I have no real reason to distrust BioWare at this point. They haven't let me down yet with the original Mass Effects and stuff, despite some of the controversy. So I do have some good faith there. So 5 new studios. We happy for you coming out in August. Trials of Vesperia. Luca, do you know anything about this game?
Not really, dude. I don't really play anime games other than Persona 5.
It's Tales of Vesperia.
Oh.
It's a huge RPG.
I think it was a 360 exclusive. Like Microsoft paid out the butt to get that as an exclusive back in the day.
It's been on PlayStation for a while as well, I think. I'm not sure about that game.
It's got a huge community. I do know that. I know a lot of people that do play it.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of huge community, the Division 2 gameplay trailer, anybody in particular kind of taken aback by this at all?
I first I thought it was the new Walking Dead game, the atmosphere that it had, but then
they were in a jungle. I was like, isn't it supposed to be Washington?
Yeah,
I was surprised.
I listen. I like the original Division. Yeah, it had some shortcomings. Hopefully, they improve it with the Division 2. But I'm in, man. I like it.
It looks a hell of a lot better. It actually looks like an open world. It doesn't feel like it's on rails like the Division. And I know you're in New York City. You got the buildings and you can't see that far ahead. But now it's kind of opened up there. You can see what's going on. And I may try this one. I didn't like the Division, but I may try this one. It may be a bit better for me since it is open. Yeah, I'll give it a go.
You know what? Either way, Microsoft are, and we have plenty more discussion here, but Microsoft, I think, are to be commended too, because unlike the real problem with the EA conference yesterday for 90% of people is that it was more of a conference for investors. It felt like. Yeah. Here's our mobile game that's not really an RTS anymore, and we've crushed that franchise. And really, I don't know. This was a conference for gamers. Yeah. And if you're a gamer, they showed you 50 games.
How can you not like that? 50 games. I don't care if they
weren't a bunch of indie trash like everyone tried to say last year. They were real fucking next level shit. Devil May Cry 5, when it was rumored to be a PlayStation exclusive, was massive. People were like, it's going to be at the Sony stage, and then they showed here, and now nothing. Where are you?
And that sizzle reel that they showed for the indie games, there was some really interesting titles there, man.
If you're not, if you're not interested in anything they showed on the Microsoft stage, just unplug your console now, whatever it is, and never play again.
Yeah, there was some
watch it again, right? Watch it again. Turn your volume all the way up, but this time turn your TV on.
I'll say this, although I did want, I like I said before, I wanted to see some new IPs, but for the Forza, there was a new take on it with the seasons. The Gears of War, we got 3 Gears of War games. We got the RTS one. I'm not interested in RTS, but I'm sure there's a following for that. You got the Funko Pop ones. That looks interesting. And of course, you got the regular.
Interesting isn't the word I would use, D, but okay.
Wait, hold on. Before this Funko Pop game, it's on mobile only.
Yeah, it's iOS and Android.
So is it like $1 game or free to play?
It doesn't say, but it's
Now, if you watched a recent video that a lot of us made, Matt Booty talks about wanting to make first party, but also having plans for content throughout the next year or two. The one that everyone lied about and said that they weren't working on anything real first party story anymore. It was all games as a service. In that same quote from Matt Booty, he talks about taking risks with existing franchises. This is exactly what he meant. 2 Gears of War spinoffs, not 1, 2, which is what I had covered in a video here recently. And yeah, one's a cell phone, looks like maybe some kind of, I don't know. It's made by PopCap. Do the math.
It says it brings together iconic Gears characters in a cute Funko Pop style. The game is being developed in partnership with Funko and inspired by Gears of War vinyl collection. It's the perfect slice of mobile mayhem.
Yeah, it's a perfect slice of mobile mayhem. And then you have Gears of War Tactics for the PC, which will
turn-based,
turn-based kind of XCOM stuff.
I called that months ago. I heard that. I was like, yeah, they're gonna. I didn't think it would be exclusive to the PC.
and a new take on Halo. It's a new take on Halo. It's not the same regular Halo.
Yeah, it's a Master Chief Halo. They got rid of Locke and everything else. It's just it looks like it from the feel I got, it could possibly be an open world Halo. Like
Mankind, the super chat real quick says that show, the Xbox show, is absolutely great. Yeah, we have to wait for the exclusives, but there's plenty of multiplats. And really think to yourself, guys, this February, what are you playing? You might be playing Days Gone, but you're probably playing multiplats. October, you're playing multiplats. Like,
there was plenty of exclusives they did show that I'm excited for personally. Ori 2 is one of those. Cuphead DLC. Yeah. They've got things that I do want to play, and of course, going into this again, I knew they weren't going to show a brand new big AAA IP, but that's fine. I knew that going in. What they did here, what they had to work with, they knocked it out the park, guys.
Yeah. And they addressed the issue of exclusives with these 5 new fucking studios that are going to have the backing of Microsoft. They're going to be cracking out some games. We might have to wait a year to see some of them, but it takes time. At least they addressed it, and they're not dismissing it, and we have some evidence now that they're going to do something about it.
And don't make the mistake of thinking, well, they just bought these studios, so the games are 5 years away. No, Ninja Theory had been working on a game right before they even released Hellblade. That game will be an Xbox only game, no matter what it was. Microsoft are now increasing manpower. Same for Playground with their open world game. Undead Labs already know what they're working on in the background. Yeah, is it going to take time?
At the same time, when they make announcements like this, don't expect a new game tomorrow, people.
Yeah. So
it's just crazy to me,
but it's not right here.
It's just crazy to me that they did what they did what we wanted. They gave us new studios to make the games. How does anyone expect them to have the games ready if they didn't have the studios? This doesn't make any sense. And everyone, like, gamers have such a I want this right now mentality. It's like this generation's over. They're going to start building. They showed their commitment to first party. I don't even understand why people are just having such a hard time grasping that.
And we got some cool multi-plat announcements where, for instance, Devil May Cry, where they specifically said they are taking advantage of the Xbox One X. That's fucking awesome news, man.
Hey, D-Batch, money talks, man. And Microsoft are using that money in very smart ways. And you can't say there's no Japanese support now. You can't say, you just can't do it. I'm sorry.
What about that game with
anybody that's been ragging on the box just because you're negative and anti-consumer? You now have less ammo than you've ever had in the past several years. So I want to move on.
What about that game with Naruto and Dragon Ball? That fucking looked awesome.
Yeah,
Jump Force.
That's not the word I would use, but okay.
Jump Force.
Jump Force. It's
I
like
want to talk about that. I want to
Hey,
talk
that's a huge crossover, man.
Yeah, that is
I
a
got
very
that
huge
down on the
crossover.
topic list. So just hang on, guys. You're jumping past me here. We've also got fast start for games. Basically speeds up any kind of Game Pass action you're doing. And how they're going to do this? They're going to try to predict what games you play now. They're going to go off of that, use their algorithm to predict the next one, and perhaps install it up to the ready-to-play part preemptively.
Yeah, they're going to figure out if you would most likely start off with multiplayer or single player and get those assets loaded in first so that you'll be ready to jump in to that part of the game first, is what I got from that announcement.
Yeah, and they'll try
Which
to
is
do
cool.
that preemptively. They also said Master Chief Collection's coming to Game Pass this year after the update, of course. Ashen, Warhammer Vermintide 2 is coming to Game Pass day one. These bigger and bigger third parties are starting to hit Game Pass day one. I mean, we can all agree since inception, now you're getting more than ever, right? So
Yes, absolutely.
that is a positive trend. And I was actually going to buy Warhammer day one anyway. So they also showed off Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Once again, I
Looks
can't
great.
wait. It's one of my most anticipated games for the year.
Multi-plat.
Multi-plat, of course. Right? Can't be excited for it. Hey, by the way, anybody saying it's a multi-plat, don't be excited. You better
not allowed.
You better not play Red Dead. You better not play anything this year. So
Was it Luca that said, I don't play just exclusives?
That was
you,
me.
Luca?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's a brilliant statement. I mean, a lot of these people, probably the people that thumbs down this video right now, are the ones who would just like to pretend that's all they play. Oh, yeah, I mean, I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn for 18 months.
I just honestly, the way I think about it, right, is that a lot of these guys with these issues don't even like Xbox, and they don't own Xboxes. So, why do you care so much? Who cares?
the consumer, they don't realize that if one went under, then they'd be fucked. They don't understand or realize that. You don't understand or realize that. You need two. It takes two to tango. Microsoft is the reason Sony gave you what you wanted, and Sony is the reason that Microsoft are now more pro-consumer and doing more than ever of what we wanted. So
I'm not even an Xbox guy, but I look at these games and I'm like, I'm excited for them. I'm happy that Xbox put on a great show. These people that are complaining, I don't know what to say, man. It was fun for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, and that's the vast majority too. The majority, and I think that's what some of these frauds forget. The majority of people had a great time at that conference, and there was nothing but great stuff there. Session looks kind of like maybe a spiritual.
It's from the developers of Skate.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, it's just
really?
The successor to Skate 4, basically.
I see a lot of people begging for Skate 4 to come out or to be announced, and this is going to launch exclusively for a time, maybe a timed exclusive. Yeah. Maybe it'll be just 1 year. I don't know, but it's going to be on the Xbox first.
That's pretty cool. I had someone, I was talking to someone last night, and they were expressing their concerns and sadness that they didn't announce Skate 4. But that's really cool. I hope they like this. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the sequel that never happened. And Skate 3 had a lot of good physics and stuff to it. They also announced or they showed more Black Desert, which is supposed to come out this year, right? Crap.
Yeah, Black Desert Online. So I mean, that's I don't know. I'm gonna give it a try. I hear mixed things, but I'll definitely try it out.
Charlie Walker in the super chat says Don Matrix era is over. It's now basically Phil Spencer's time. Well, a lot of people got to understand. I've heard people say Donnie D gave us Rise. They gave us Sunset Overdrive, Titanfall. No, he didn't. Phil Spencer was head of first party.
You want to know what Donnie D gave us? Fucking Xbox One that cost $100 more than a PS4 with a Kinect that wasn't unbundled. He canceled Halo Online, closed down a bunch of studios, was the one that picked the decision to do Fable Legends in that way. Yeah, he canceled the kart racing game that Rare was working on.
Spencer was the head of first party. Donnie D was the head of Xbox. So Phil Spencer had Matt Booty's job, and Phil Spencer is the one who brought Sunset Overdrive, Quantum Break, Rise, Titanfall deal, all that stuff to Don Matrix's attention. And Don Matrix said, I'm smoking some crack. Get out of here, and I'll sign the paper.
Don Matrix, the one that said, we got a console for you if you don't have internet, chump. So
it's definitely Donnie D is out and gone. Thank God. The guy didn't care about the brand that much. Anybody who's ever met him, nobody really had much good things to say about him. It's all about Phil, Satya, and now Matt Booty. So Devil May Cry sequel from the guys who made DMC. This is from the guys who made the producer or the guy who directed Devil May Cry 4, correct?
It's Capcom, so
Well, they're bringing back like that's why they put the emphasis on the guy on stage who, like, you know, he made the previous Devil May Cry games that everyone loved, and like he's back with Devil May Cry after all this time. So it looks like they're really coming back and reuniting those two things: the original guy behind the Devil May Cries everyone loved, and of course Devil May Cry. Cuphead getting some DLC releasing next year. Tunic, not sure what that was, but I like the art style of it.
One person made that, I think.
One person.
It's so cute.
I think that
Zelda
the Fox game?
That game.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what
what
it
it reminded me of.
Yeah.
Is that the Fox game? Guys?
Oh wait,
Yeah.
no. Tunic is the Fox game. Yeah, that's a yeah. It looked like Zelda. I said it looked like
Zelda
Zelda.
NES. Or
And everybody
SNES,
was like,
yeah.
"Boo, crap gamer! Boo, boo this
Well,
man!"
when it came on, I said, "Is this a Switch game?" 'Cause that's what it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, all games.
Yeah.
It looked like a
They
Switch.
got-
That'll appeal to everybody, though. You can't just appeal.
Yeah, exactly. I said that in the pre-show that I did, was that they aren't just doing games for me or you. They're trying to do something for everybody. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, hey, D-Batch, tell us about Jump Force real quick.
I don't know if it's a fighter or what it is,
like a
but just the fact that Naruto and the Dragon Ball Z universe and all these other popular Japanese anime shows are gonna all be in one game. That's gonna be huge. The crowd was kind of quiet for it because I don't think they realize how big it is, but that's huge, man.
Yeah, and it's like there's also Light from Death Note in there too. That was the last image they showed.
yeah.
I was like, that's so cool, dude. Like that's really, I mean, I'm not gonna get it, but it looks cool. It looks cool.
No problem.
I watch those animes. I've
Me
watched
too,
them
bro.
since I was a kid. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I'm stoked. Like the Dragon Ball Z game that came out this year, I fucking love that game, And it's a go for me, man.
So it kind of looks like a Marvel vs. Capcom of some Japanese anime characters, basically.
It's like their version of Smash Brothers, honestly, for anime.
Could be, yeah. Colt, tell us about Dying Light 2, man.
Oh gosh, what a great game! Dying Light. I don't know. I mean, it looks big.
The guy
Dying
came
Light
on
has like
stage and said, "Man, look at these colors. Look at these clothes, right?"
Yeah. They actually they did bring in a little more life. That game had like a brown and yellow and orange, color palette to it. That game has the best running movements and climbing movements. It has the best combat, and it's just a massive game. It's so polished. Like when the first one came out, it's just amazingly perfected. To me, like the side quests are like almost better than the main quests. Just everything you do is awesome. The game has co-op built into it at all times. A really interesting thing was
on choice, right? How that would affect the world.
That's
yeah,
really
and this
cool.
game was supposed to
really
release in
cool.
2014 in the spring at the same time with Dead Island 2. And I think it's so funny that Dying Light 2 is ready to come out next year before Dead Island 2 even comes out. So, which would, it's crazy. It's going to be really cool.
So
I know there's a lot of fans in the
you
chat.
love,
Like
love
Dying
tech
Light.
lane games. You're really waiting for Dying Light 2. They showed an emphasis on how diplomacy is going to work with different factions, how it could change the world. And they said there's going to be hundreds of instances of this in the game. And then they kind of showed the nighttime and how the zombies. It looks like zombies are only out during the night in this game. Is that kind of how it looked to you?
No.
I
I mean, I don't know why they showed it that way,
I
but
think the more dangerous zombies are out at night.
Well,
they
when
showed a lot of
started-
humans out in the day, so maybe humans play more of a part. Mostly in the second half of the game, you go to a different city, and there are more human enemies like guarding loot or guarding like supply chests, and you fight them a lot. But it looks like they kind of have humanized.
Well,
some of
when
that
they started the trailer, didn't it remind you of like a Bethesda game? It was like,
Oh, I wasn't sure. I thought it was Gears at first for a while because they had that blue on the armor, the enemies. Like it almost looked like what Gears 5 was
Yeah.
going to be.
I recognized it as soon as like he dropped down. I was like, oh, it's Dying Light, But honestly, I didn't play the first Dying Light. I wasn't really interested, but this interests me. Like I like the idea that you can change the environment and the world around you by your choices. I'm down for that, So I might pick it up.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Crap, did you?
I liked it. I played a little bit of the first Dying Light, but not much. But this one looks like a million times better. So it's definitely going to be something I'm going to pick up. I love the style, and it's like those are co-op games. So I'm really into that. So I'm excited, man. I'm pumped.
I wish Shady was here because he was predicting that they were going to bring out Battletoads, and looks like they finally went through and said, you know what, we're going to put some money behind a 2.5D Battletoad side scroller, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Who cares about Battletoads? You know, I played it back in the day, and that game, it just was never very good.
Well,
I don't know
Who's developing it?
Chris Steele likes it. He
Dude,
said
that game is so bad.
I was
Well,
actually shocked.
there's always someone that cares about something, right?
Yeah.
I think that's fan service, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and who's doing it?
Some De La Studios or something.
Hey, Fiddlesticks in the Super Chat. Fiddlesticks says, how come no one's asking about Avatars 2.0? You're right. That was supposed to come out last year and still isn't out today.
They're probably going to do something
Inside.
on one of these inside Xbox.
Yep.
Same thing with the
Yes.
Bohemia exclusive.
I'm glad they didn't show controllers. I'm glad they didn't talk about avatars. They showed games, people. Games.
Yeah.
That's what they showed. It was beautiful.
Yep. I loved it.
Miguel in the Super Chat says he's a little disappointed they didn't mention anything about VR or announce anything to do with VR.
They're not going to announce VR till their next Xbox, where they can have like a wireless headset.
Yeah, wireless.
Yeah, it's not ready.
Headsets.
Yep.
Trust me, in the long run, you're not missing anything massive. Most people, and I know that D's a massive fan of VR. There's fans of VR. Crap, you're one of them.
Yes.
You know for a fact that right now you're playing most of your games without a VR headset and you're perfectly fine.
Yeah, I play VR maybe once a week or so.
So the more they can refine that tech, make it lighter, make it wireless, the better it is for maybe your first purchase. You know, get that price down and stuff too. So, Battletoads looks like it's coming. Just Cause 4, Colt. I was surprised at their kind of narrative approach to this.
I'm surprised that there is a 4 because 3 didn't do very well, even though it's still a fun game. I don't think it sold a whole bunch. But Rico is such a charismatic dude. He's like Anthony Banderas, mixed with another action hero. I just like the way they brought his character out. But if you bought the full pack of Just Cause 3, you get this jetpack wingsuit with missiles. And it looks like this is like the beginning gear you get in the game for Just Cause 4. So flying around at will and shooting guns everywhere while you're flying in a wingsuit, that game is going to be really amazing.
Yeah.
Just optimize the hell out of it, please.
They have to, because it just on PS4 and Xbox, they're not enhanced for the Pro or the X. And on all Xbox and PS4 platforms, that game drops to 13 frames whenever more than 2 things are blowing up. And I played a lot of it lately.
I played it. I played a lot of it on the PS4 Pro, and I can confirm that.
Yeah.
Yeah, massive CPU bottlenecks there with explosions and all that. Gears Pop and Gears Tactics we already covered, but Gears 5, really, now we can really go in depth, and then we'll get to Cyberpunk and stuff so Luca doesn't die. But Gears
You lead
5,
that, dealer. You lead this discussion on Gears 5.
Well, Gears 5, I was surprised to see that much of it. Furthermore, I was surprised to see JD apparently working for the COG again, right? Crap.
Yeah, he's a gear now, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's been turned. He's been turned.
I was also surprised, dealer, to see anything on Gears 5 right now, but I was pleasantly surprised because what I saw there was awesome. I mean, somebody said earlier that it was boring. What? Dude, I was getting into it. The story the little bit of the story they were talking about, and what I know from the previous Gears, how it ends on a cliffhanger. I was excited for this one, watching this trailer.
I like their little
Who's dead, though?
The amount of talking, I guess.
I like their little red herring because it makes you think it's JD who's dead, but it's he's like, nah, fam, I'm here. Sorry that.
Who is it?
Wow, surprise.
Yeah.
Who is it that's dead, though?
D-Batch. That's D-Batch on the cover.
JD looked like the guy on Storage Wars. I don't know if anybody watches that, but lately he's got a shaved head and a beard. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Crap knows. I mean, he totally looks like him.
They did say that it's by far the biggest world they've ever made. You're playing as Kate as the main protagonist here. Looks like it's going to be dealing with a lot of kind of not psychosis type stuff, but keep in mind if you play Gears 4 that there's good reason for her to perhaps be coming under the influence of the enemy. And it's 2019, so next.
Hey, somebody said that was Locke under the blanket.
Damn.
Dealer, what stuff? They showed combat at the end of the trailer. Tell us what you saw. I'm sure you're watching with eagle eyes.
Yeah, I was trying to. Well, for one, you couldn't help but notice how strikingly stunning the game looked, right? It looked like they had some really crazy desert environments. It reminded me of like something from Mars at one point. It looks like now some of the DBs have now been infested and kind of taken over a little bit by the swarm. So that's interesting. They're kind of much like StarCraft, the infested Terran and all that. So looks like they've kind of melded the two to create a new enemy type. It looks like there's certain new boss types of swarm, like the one we saw in the desert with the cape and stuff on. Yep. They're changing things up a little bit, and at this point, I don't mind. I really liked Gears 4. It's a great game. I think it's an 84, 85 on Metacritic. I mean, everyone agrees it's a good game. It's a great game, but the first two acts were slow with the DBs and stuff. But like I said, they had 2.5 years to make that with a new team on a new engine, coming up with a new story. Now they've got 2019 from 20. They got 3 years to do this one, and they know what they're doing. They're full steam ahead now. So,
well, that's the thing. You had a solid storyline with Gears 4. And now with this game, it looks that they're going to add in these new enemy types and stuff. And that's one thing in games with, a series that bugs me is that we will fight the same stuff over and over usually. And sometimes they'll just change up an end boss or something. But here we have what looks to be like new enemy types throughout the game. And that's what's pretty fascinating here for me in this trailer. I'm excited for it.
I saw some Metal Gear-ish kind of, I don't know what it was, and it turned on the side and it started firing at them, and it had some,
that was cool.
Had some organic stuff.
Three-legged thing with a gun melted
and they were like tweaking. I was like, oh, damn, what is that?
Hey, not only that, it looks like you got new ways to kill enemies yourselves. Miguel in the super chat says he got excited when he saw Kate swinging around that giant mace.
Yes.
Like that looked really cool too. So those guys are busy, man. And Luca, you beat Gears 4, right? She's gone again.
No, I'm here. It takes me a second to unmute. No, I didn't beat it yet.
Okay, so we got to run through that soon, but the game only gets better the further you get. Crap, did you pick up anything from this gameplay, this story?
It's hard saying really. Like I'm not real sure what to really make of it, but I mean, I thought it looked really good. Like pretty much everything else that I saw today, I was pretty damn impressed. So
I hope the action in Gears 5 is like towards the last chapter, because I remember I cleared it with you, dealer, and like the last levels were fucking awesome, and when it ended, I was like, what the fuck? It's over? That's it now? Like, what the hell?
I do want to say the part where they switched to the actual gameplay, that was some of the best graphics I've ever seen. And just absolutely blew my mind. Like, you can just those guys do not get enough credit for what they do. If you go back and play Gears 4, well, even though they updated, you have to remember that wasn't with the X in mind. This is like with the X and stuff in mind, probably fully utilized with, and it looks phenomenal. Like, people want that realistic graphics and, something that shows off the X. Well, there you go.
And you know what? I to add to that, the lighting on the graphics was amazing to me. That's something I noticed right away, even over the stream. I was like, man, check out that lighting in that scene. It's amazing. And
I also
live stream too, like you said, stream.
I also noticed too that the characters weren't as bulky. They were a little bit more slimmed down, a little bit more refined.
Except for JD, he looked
jacked.
Yeah, he did look jacked.
He looked like he was eating good.
Hey, failed Pyromancer in the super chat says it's been a long time. He could smile. He basically smiled throughout the whole conference. It's been a while since he's been able to get this hyped.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like real Xbox fans, the people who aren't doing these shows, the people who don't have like an agenda and don't have YouTube channels, they're happy. Yeah. Like, they're genuinely excited.
I got to twist your words a little bit, Luca. I got to say real gamers are happy.
Yeah. I just jumped on another podcast for like 5 minutes to talk about that situation. And like, these guys are all fucking down on the conference. I'm like, listen, you guys are watching this with fucking tinted glasses. How could you watch that show and not be impressed? They showed nothing but fucking games. We're gamers. Like, they showed nothing but games.
I went into that conference pessimistic. I went in there thinking this is going to be a shit show.
Same.
I went in there thinking they were gonna show like cars on stage again and like controllers and that kind of stuff. I wasn't like negative or anything like that. I just, from last year, that's just what I expected, right? And they completely blew me away. They surprised me. They shocked me. It was games. And then they
literally. Go ahead. Sorry, Luca.
And then they announced the studios. And I was like, Jesus, this is amazing. And then Gears 5 and Cyberpunk, it's just kind of like, What's
The level of transparency is to be applauded there.
what's there to be upset about? Like, I'm confused. I don't get it. This
Hey,
is
Dealer,
great.
do you think the majority of gamers watching the show actually paid attention to what Phil Spencer was saying on stage? Because he said a lot of stuff there. You're right about the transparency. I mean, the guy spilled it all. I mean, he said that they were focusing and they were committed to games and the platform. I don't understand what people were wanting.
You don't say something on that stage with all those people watching unless each word means something. And I was paying attention, and that's the problem. I mean, we deal with this. Those of us here that run YouTube channels, like, we usually try to say something if it means something, and obviously I can tell people aren't listening. And if there's people in here that are talking about how crappy the conference was or how Xbox isn't doing anything, they're just those type of people that just aren't listening, and they're not worth.
Nobody in chat says, "Oh my God, Phil said nothing." Guys say 1,000 words and doesn't say one.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're not listening. You're not paying attention. No one.
He addressed so many concerns. Like when he was like, "Yeah, we're working on our next Xbox." That was a major concern from people. Yeah, we have the studios. That was a major concern from people. Yeah, we're committed to first party. Major concern. What's going on? Like, I don't understand.
PS4. We're not.
I'm only going to speak for myself, but I mean to no one and other people out there who don't know me. I am very critical of all these platforms, and especially of Microsoft this generation. You can go to my channel and see some of that. You can listen to me on other podcasts, and I thought it was a good show. As a gamer, I'm sitting here and I was happy.
Yeah, I was happy as a gamer as well.
The only thing that could have made it better is Red Dead gameplay, but you'll probably see that at Sony's conference. So
maybe.
We saw Cyberpunk.
We're gonna get to that real quick, but they did. Lucas Wright. They did mention the next Xbox. And once again, we have to reiterate, he hammered down the point that not today, not tomorrow, but for the years to come, we're going to be the benchmark. We're going to have the benchmark in console hardware, basically. Just go back and rewatch it. It's clearly what he's saying. And, with the software acquisitions and all that, it's looking absolutely phenomenal, guys. And for those of you guys that are here, hit that like button, guys. We appreciate it. Thanks for all the support. Cyberpunk 2077, Luca, go.
Woo! So I wasn't sure what was happening at the end of the show after Gears. I was like, oh, he's talking. Are they going to show anything else? He made it seem like they were ending the show, right? And then the whole little, cut him out up in the middle of his conversation. Like, dude, like words cannot
They pulled
express.
the Rocksteady, right? And the screen started.
Yes. And then he looked up like he was shocked when he knew it was going to happen. And it's like, this is amazing. And then the song that played in the 2013 little teaser for Cyberpunk 2077 started playing. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is everything I've wanted in life. Like, ever since I played The Witcher 3, I've been like heavy on CD Projekt Red. And I genuinely am so excited for this. And I've been waiting to see more of this game.
It looks like Grand Theft Auto in the future. Like, you're going to have your own car you can drive around, it looks like. You're going to have countless mods. It showed people like their mods are failing. Their faces are catching on fire. And
Blade Runner stuff in there. Yeah.
Yes, it reminded me a lot of Akira because I just watched that last night. That's a anime movie from, I think it's the 90s, the 80s or the 90s. And it's like very futuristic, very dystopian. And I'm like, yes, I'm featuring this. Like, I'm really feeling it.
It looked really good. And it looks like it's going to be a massive world. I mean, and that's why people are like, why are you so hard on these big, giant 900 man Ubisoft teams that take 4 years to make something that's not as in depth as Witcher 3 in less time with the smaller budget and the smaller team? We're like, CD Projekt Red specialize at this type of stuff. Like, we want others to compete, and Cyberpunk looks to be picking up the mantle.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. When you look at a game like this, the first vibe I got from it was Blade Runner. Being an older guy, I'm sorry, that's what I thought of. And then I thought of like Fifth Element and things like that.
Oh, nice one.
Blade Runner.
And I was like, this is my type of game here. I really want to see more of it because we didn't see gameplay, guys. So we saw a bunch of like just I don't know if you want to call it CGI. Could be
engine or whatever it is.
But what they showed was very intriguing, and I'm excited.
And it looks like it's a really, really dark world. Like, I saw one scene, these girls were on the train and there was like some guy sitting there and they were like taking his eyeballs out and all kinds of shit. I was like, wow, man, a lot of darkness, man. Yeah, it looks great. It actually looks more interesting to me than The Witcher because, like, The Witcher is just
different time period and stuff.
Yeah, just like I don't know, just like maybe more my thing is that game. So very, very much interested. It looks amazing. Like I thought, like just the setting and the ideas behind it were phenomenal, amazing.
I'm so excited for
I
it.
I was really excited at the end there because they did the Rocksteady thing where the screen starts glitching, right? Rocksteady's done this twice. And then I was thinking, holy shit, yes, let that Superman at Xbox's stage rumor be true. It wasn't true. So you very well may see that on the Sony stage. But either way, I am pumped for anything new from Rocksteady. Hopefully we'll see that Superman game here in the next day or two. I can't wait. So Colt, did you have anything that kind of crossed your mind about Cyberpunk?
No, I mean, like I said, it reminds me of a lot of Blade Runner. They had a lot of daytime shots in that trailer, but I'm a big fan of Blade Runner, and Cyberpunk stuff's cool. I like that sort of genre. So knowing what Witcher 3 is, it's going to be a massive game.
It was great, man, and in my opinion, this was one of Microsoft's best conferences ever.
I agree.
I mean, crap. Can you think? Because you're a veteran. Can you think of any other conferences where it's like clearly just better than this at all?
No, because I thought that they actually put the emphasis on Xbox. It wasn't like Xbox and Windows 10 in your face. You know what I mean? It was like Xbox. I mean, the end with like the mobile game or whatever. And I mean, that's okay. But it was like even the end when they talked about the cloud stuff, it wasn't like, hey, we're throwing out your Xbox and now it's all cloud.
Crappy, I like how you say Xbox.
Xbox.
You put a lot of emphasis on like Xbox.
Like
XBA.
Yeah. Like anybody that was like Xbox done or they're folding or this, like you haven't been paying attention. They post like, I don't care about their profits, but the fact that they're making money clearly means they can invest that money into buying studios, making new games. And I've heard from somebody that DM'd me that this is only the beginning in terms of the studio acquisition. So.
Mm-hmm. Miguel says this conference was never about Xbox winning for me. He got to see a glimpse of the future, good things to come. Really, that's what matters. And you know what? I hate the hypocrisy. I hate it when people, if it were a Sony conference and they showed all those third parties, just like Sony are going to do, they're going to have a lot of third parties there. Mm-hmm. I hate to think that anyone's dumb enough to think that means you can't be excited because it's third party too. So. Don't worry, guys. For those that are clamoring for just the new IPs only, you'll get that in the future. And then what will you switch it to? We don't know. But for the rest of us, we are excited for all of these great games. Phil's level of transparency. Game Pass members are getting a lot of great new software today, as well as into the future.
Fallout 4.
Confirmation on the next hardware being the benchmark. The benchmark meaning the best, by the way. So you're getting the best hardware next generation. We've already told you about this in the past, according to some insider stuff we got in our hands on. And of course, all of the great stuff they showed off, Gears of War, Cyberpunk, everything they showed off. It was a banger of a conference. I can't say otherwise. So one final time, Luca would give it a Witcher out of 10, a 9.5. I would give it a Witcher out of 10, a 9.5. Colt, what would you give it?
I don't like giving numbers, so I was super excited. It was there was no slow spots, and there are so many games we're gonna have to take out a second mortgage on our homes. I mean, there are a ton of games. That's
honestly, I mean, I could safely say like I would never regret giving it a 9 or a 9.5. It just depends on my mood. So minimum would be a 9, and that's a great, amazing score. That's that's some good stuff.
You know what's sorry to interrupt, but you know what's sad? It's like I really feel like when it comes, we're going to be the ones being positive about this, and there's going to be so many other people just bashing it, and it sucks.
Well, here's the thing. You're going to see a lot of that, and you're going to get the hate. Just deflect. Don't even bother.
I'm not going to be watching several shows this week,
because honestly, we're happy as gamers, and that's all that matters is us. Forget the rest.
A lot of these channels do. That's all they do is they'll just spend, and that's how you can really tell. Because on this channel, we don't spend our time talking about how PlayStation's worse or their games dropping frames or how their games suck, or that's not what we do, right? We try to talk about the positives of both sides. We're looking forward to things like Spider-Man. Absolutely loved God of War, but now look at Gears of War 4. Look at Cyberpunk. Look at all these great games. So really, if you see a show doing that, go back and look at what they're doing. In the last 6 months to a year, that's all they're doing is being negative about Xbox, and they run Sony channels. It doesn't make much sense to me. So, it's pretty easy to spot these people.
They gave people what they wanted to see, more mature games. It's there. Check that off. They showed nothing but games pretty much. Check that off. They told you about Game Pass and their, you know, partnerships with like Bethesda and Ubisoft now. They've got some of their games in there now. That's crazy. I know they're older, but it's a start, and that is a great thing to see. You had Phil Spencer talk about how he was committed to these games and stuff. For me, it was an easy 9 out of 10, man.
Crap, what would you give it?
I get, like I just said earlier, A+ or 9.5 out of 10. Just like, you know, just absolutely did what they. For me as a fan, I'm very content in knowing that Xbox is going to be around for a long time. They aren't packing it in. They aren't giving up. Phil kept to his word. If you think about it, said he was fixing this, and this, and now he's working on the first party. Boom.
It was a glimpse of extreme transparency of the future of the brand.
Incredible transparency. And they even have a shadow of a next Xbox saying that they're going to work on, you know, they're going to be at the forefront of that. So like, boom, I think they could surprise people next year with another Xbox announcement.
Yeah, I think so for 2020, man.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You got to manage that extremely carefully.
Yeah.
But no one forced.
So does Sony.
Nobody forced anybody to buy the X or the Pro. So if you're upset about that, you know, and you went in and bought the X or the Pro, you knew what these were.
Yeah,
they're going to be able to
they were transparent with both of those systems, that they were just mid-console refreshes. So you knew this. So if you're thinking that these consoles were going to last, well, I'm sure after the new consoles come out, you'll still be able to get games on them. But if you were thinking these are the consoles for the next 3-4 years, then you were sadly mistaken.
Do people really like sit at home and beat their head against a sheetrock wall because they bought a console knowing a new one's coming? I mean, it's
Well,
I know like the Pro was
guy,
$400
right?
and the X was
Still,
500.
7 years in, right?
It's like, oh my gosh!
It's like-
oh dear! Oh god! Oh no!
like we always say, like we're in the age of cell phones where people refresh their cell phones every 1 to 2 years. You know, a better version of that device is going to come out, yet you still buy it.
If
So you know a better Xbox is going to come out. You when you buy your PC this year, you know a better one's going to come out next year. You can't cry over that.
Yeah. And you're going to be able to keep playing it on your current stuff, so it'll be all right.
Yeah, they did touch on the streaming stuff, and I think that's going to help. They're going to put that on the Xbox One S, for instance, and you might be able to stream true next-gen games to your S. You never know. So
That's true.
No,
I think
like that install base, that confidence, that lack of risk. They want to keep those numbers there. It'll be interesting to see how they carry forward, but no one can stop progress, and that's just the case. So I don't think it'll come out next year. I think it'll be 2020 at the earliest. We will see. That's 3 years out of the X. That is 7 years out of the Xbox One. And I guess we'll have to see. So, Crap, you give it a 9.5, 9.5. D-Batch, what do you give it?
I would give it, honestly, tell you, an 8.7. I'm going to reserve the other 3 till I see what Sony is bringing to the table. I want to almost give it a 9, but I'm going to give it an 8.7. The reason why I give it an 8.7, I'm going to dock them just for not announcing any new IPs. Yes, they addressed the future stuff, and I'm happy, and I think Xbox is in good hands, but I got to be honest, I'm going to have to dock them a little bit for not introducing any new IPs. So I'd give them an 8.7.
Okay. And I get what you mean by wait until you see what Sony's doing too. I think the games Sony are going to show, Last of Us and stuff, it's all going to look great. And it's going to be some of the biggest stuff of E3 easily. But at the end of the day, I expected more of their last conference at E3. A lot of people get PSX and their E3 mixed up. Their E3 was the worst one they've ever had.
I have to say, though, Sony may win E3 for me when they show The Last of Us 2 and gameplay of Red Dead. Honestly,
Could be.
They may win it with that alone.
But
if
they do win,
that doesn't matter.
You're still excited because you get to play.
Exactly. At the end of the day, I don't have to be ashamed or upset because I actually like Xbox. Oh my god!
And everybody here on the panel owns both systems. We all own an Xbox. We all own a PS4. And some of us even the PSVR. Like, we play games, man. It's like, Xbox is my brand of choice, and it's, you know, I like the franchises. I like the ecosystem. But doesn't mean I hate Sony. I don't like some of their practices, but they release some good games, man.
And if you have an Xbox, you know, Phil Spencer he said it like 2 or 3 times in the conference that everything's going to play better on the Xbox. I mean, you have all of the features and bonuses that the PlayStation doesn't get. So if you're anything like me, you're going to play Spider-Man at the end of the year on your PS4, and you're going to play everything else on your Xbox, and it's going to be a great experience.
Yep.
You know, Elena Pierce, I'll add this in real quick. Elena Pierce last night from IGN, she was talking about the Microsoft conference. She said that she was hearing really great things, and everyone said, well, they don't have any games, and Sony's going to kill them. And she said, just kind of called this guy out for saying, don't you want everybody to win? You know, shouldn't you be asking for the same fire to be put under Sony to deliver great things for you? And then she said, shouldn't you be asking Sony to do great things like Game Pass, backward compatibility, EA Access, and all these other things?
Yeah. And by
And I
their
thought,
logic,
that was pretty cool.
by their logic, the same guy that said they have nothing to show, are you only counting the 2 or 3 or 4 games that are exclusives that they show? Furthermore, are you only counting the exclusives that come out that year?
Right.
If that's the case, you're going to have one game to count at Sony's conference, Spider-Man.
Oh,
So,
by the way,
you know
what Colt was saying about Alana Pierce. Yeah, I've been listening to her for years now. She's great. She says a lot of good stuff about microtransactions and everything else. Yeah, I like what she has to say. She's a true gamer. She's not all about, this console war BS. So that's well said.
Okay, well, once again, guys, absolutely fantastic show. Looks like from fans of gaming, Xbox fans, not just Xbox fans. We have, I'd say there's a couple people here that just go where the power's at and where their preferred games are. We got a lot of people here that have PCs. Yeah, I just got to say, I don't see the negativity here, and those that do, generally, if you go and see what they're all about, it's probably a bunch of crazy shit. So just keep that in mind. I think it's okay to be excited for that conference. I thought it was one of their best conferences, and I applaud Phil and the team for pulling that off fairly hitch-free and really giving us really just steamrolling what was yesterday's mess and really kicking E3 off properly, in my opinion. So let us know what you think down below. Of course, we got thousands of comments live during the show. None of those will show up in the comment section of the video when it renders. If you have an opinion, if you think they lost for some reason, if you think they won for some reason, click the video after it renders. Let us know what you think, because I'm going to use all this information to kind of decide what the people thought about E3. Also, check out RDX Podcast. That's on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. With the RDX crew and I, we go through and we kind of give our opinions every week on a lot of the stuff, all the newest information in gaming. It's the best way to keep up to date. Crap here has a podcast on his channel on Wednesdays as well. And we encourage you guys to check those out every week. And we do appreciate that support. So we're going to start with some outros. Start with Colt Eastwood, man.
Hey, you can find me on Twitter and Xbox and YouTube at Colt Eastwood, all one word. And I'll be putting together a video that kind of talks about what we saw at Xbox. And check it out if you would. Give me a little bit of support. Appreciate it.
Go check out
Good panel today.
Video too. He uploaded a video the other day. Go check that out if you haven't checked his channel here recently. Luca, thanks for joining us. Where can people find you?
Thanks for having me. You can find me on Twitter at the Ash and Luca and hashtag be nice.
You're the Xbox queen. Can't believe nothing you say.
I know, right? Queen Xbot.
D-Batch, where can people find you, man?
Catch me at D_Batch on Twitter and, of course, D-Batch on YouTube. And everyone, just enjoy E3. This is the best time of the year to be a gamer, and enjoy the conferences that are to come.
Yeah, tons of great stuff. And we got, some people that didn't enjoy this. I think you're just all radical fanboys. Anybody who's hating on this in the comment section or in the live chat there, I think you're off your rocker. But by and large, most people enjoyed this. They had a great time. That's why I encourage you guys to hit the like button to counteract all of the toxic people, the toxic fucks that really don't offer any real reason as to why this was horrible. Furthermore, then we didn't see any brand new IPs. Did you not like the games you saw? I think most people did. And like I said, if you did, if you support the show, hit the like button. It really helps. Crap, man. Thanks for coming on, man.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me on. It was good to kind of dissect it with you guys. I was glad to see that we pretty much shared a positive opinion on it. I was blown away by it. I thought it was phenomenal. So, always a pleasure to come on here and talk some games with you guys. And I really do appreciate it. I'm waiting for Colt to make me a new theme song. So once he's done with that, I'll be happy to put that at the beginning of my videos. It's going to be great. Trust me.
Hey,
Crap gamer reviews.
Exactly.
Crap. Somebody said you screamed like a little girl when the Ninja Theory was announced as first party.
I was like, because I was like 10 seconds ahead of everybody else. So when they're like this studio and Ninja Theory, I was like, Ninja Theory. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Voice cracked.
I was like, Ninja Theory, yes, man.
All the guys that praise that developer, I guess they just are going to abandon them now, huh?
Yeah.
Be
So.
interesting to see how.
And they already said they're done making PS4 games. So obviously, but
did they really say that already?
Yeah, they're done.
Where did they say that?
Somebody told it to me that they said in their press release that they're just making Xbox exclusives now.
Of course, they're owned by Xbox. They are.
Except for the only one that's weird is that Compulsion because it has to do with that deal.
Well, think of it kind of like Minecraft, right? Like Minecraft was out there. We Happy Few has been on PlayStations already with the beta or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not just going to rip it off of there and not release it there,
Which shows character, unlike Sony blurring out the Xbox controller. Oh my god.
Well, they got caught doing that with Anthem footage too. They stole Anthem Xbox gameplay and put it on their channel and got caught doing that too last year. So, Crap, where can people find you, man?
Crap Gamer Reviews, man. I'm gonna do a wrap up with Mooch and a couple people here in about 45 minutes. So if people want to come over and check that out, it should be kind of interesting. And yeah, I do like the daily stuff and a couple podcasts and stuff. So definitely appreciate you guys. Crap Gamer at the _Crap Gamer on Twitter. Almost 10,000 followers. So
wow, impressive.
Get me there, yeah. Get me there, people. I'm like 112 people away.
Yeah. Here I was thinking I was a big shot reaching 1,000. Damn.
That's still great, D.
That is.
Tweeted more than once every 1,000 days.
Yeah, you got to get out there and tweet, man.
Yeah. So I got everyone here, right? The Fonz, where can people find you, man?
Okay, first off, I just want to say that you can always tell when people out themselves that they're fanboys in your chat. At the end of the show, you mentioned Ninja Theory, and they're like, "Who's Ninja Theory?" Okay.
L after L after
anyway,
L after L.
You can find me at J Fonzarelli on YouTube, and you can find me on Twitter under the same name. But also, I'll be reading all your whiny, bitchy tweets about how these shows suck and everything coming from Microsoft when you're just not real gamers, folks. You're just not. If you had a bad time here at this show, you're not a real gamer.
Nah, man.
Facts. And Ninja Theory, by the way, they just released Hellblade on Xbox One. I pushed the hell out of that game. So if you haven't checked out Hellblade, that's their last effort with almost no budget, a very small team.
And it's probably one of the better looking games too. Like on the X,
ever made. It's one of the best looking games ever made, and it's got a 60 frames mode. So very good stuff. Good results there. It's not for everyone, but it is a really good attempt at a game that really kind of tackles stuff that I've not seen in games before. So once again, guys, let us know what you think as the show renders. Leave a comment down below. Maybe share this. It really helps a lot. Hit that like button on your way out. We are out of here, guys. See you later.
Later.
Peace.
Woo-hoo.